Finding your first job in dentisting is not easy. Hiring your first associate, also difficult. I have created Dentist Job Connect to solve this problem. My name is Paul Dr. Nacho Goodman, founder of Dental Nachos, and connecting dentists for jobs is one of my favorite things to do. It embraces our amazing Nacho spirit of collaboration, community, and helping each other. To learn more how we can help you, text JOB to 215-543-6454. Working as dentists inside our operatories is awesome. The technology we use to do things like implants, scanners, clear aligners help patients chew and smile with confidence and actually make our jobs easier. But what happens when we step outside the operatory and have to put on our leadership, our business owner, our manager hat? That has become more stressful. I've developed the Dental Nachos Supreme to help you both inside the operatory with clinical things, but more importantly, outside the operatory, patient communication, leadership, business, all the things you don't learn in dental school. To learn more about the Dental Nachos Supreme, just text Supreme to 215-543-6454. Text Supreme to 215-543-6454. You will be able to get 24/7 help to help you increase your success, decrease your dentisting stress, and most of all, reduce the number of times you feel like crying inside a day. Does your dentist say words to you that make you feel weird, scared, and afraid? Because they and hygiene. One of my favorite about being a dentist is helping patients chew and smile with confidence using dental implants. Dental implants are an amazing tool that we can use to replace one teeth or all of your teeth. We can use them to stabilize dentures and help you feel great about your smile. I would love to do a virtual consult with you to tell you more about how awesome dental implants are and how they can help you in your daily chewing life. Please reach out to me, send me a video, send me a few photos, and I would love to do a virtual consultation, then meet you in the office in person.
Ashley Home Store has some of the top-rated.
Hey guys, so glad to have you guys here.
Dining tables on sale now.
Do a fun nap session with our Nacho Ambassador program, and also sharing with you guys some new stuff from me. But what these are designed to do is to make you feel more confident, less concerned about your dentistry career. So I'm going to give everyone the capability, if they would like to start their video, your promoted panels. You don't have to, if you're not in a video mood, no problem. But what I wanted to ask you guys to start is, my goal is to share with you what practice owners are looking for when they're hiring associates. I'm being asked to speak on this in just 2 weeks to like 500 people. So I wanted to share a few things I'm going to share with you guys. Let's see if you want to ask any questions in the chat. Perfect. But we'll get started for a few minutes, but just think about questions. If you were a practice owner and you were looking to hire an associate, who would you be looking for? So put the shoe on the other foot. Instead of thinking about you guys getting a job, think about, would you have a problem hiring you? How would people feel confident in asking you to come work in their office? It's not easy to onboard new associates. This is a checklist to success. Recruiting associate dentists to double your dentisting. So what is one thing I can do to make you happier? I asked this whether I'm speaking to 5 people, whether I'm speaking to 500 people. I encourage you to drop anything in the chat. You had a tough day with biochem, can't help you, but I can commiserate. You had a tough day with patients, they thought you were too young, I can help you. So please feel free to drop in the chat anything I can do to help you. So one of the things I read the other day to my daughter was, how full is your bucket? Hey, Jack, how's it going? Thanks for popping on with us. How full is your bucket? It's a great book to read, whether you are 3 or 33 or 23. But to me, ROI is all that matters, which to me is relationships, opportunities, and impact. So these are things I think about when I hire an associate or want to add an associate to my practice. Hey, look, Ryan and Maggie, what's going on, guys? Ryan, good job on your GPR post. Really got some good traction there. I don't know if you can hear me. Really impressed. You did it. Maggie, give him extra Halloween candy. We had a whole talk. We had a 30-minute, you can do it talk, and he did it. Good job. So, Jack, I also saw that you shared our Job Connect program with people at your business thing. Tell us about that group that you were at.
Yeah, that's the business organization that I started at UF. We're doing good. We've grown to, I think we're at 85 members here in our first 2 months. And then we got speakers booked out till, I think we have till March right now.
Awesome. I'd be glad to do a virtual presentation for you guys. And if you looking far enough, you're in Florida, right?
Yeah, Gainesville.
Look far enough in advance, I can likely try to do a human presentation just with my 3 and 7-year-olds. Sometimes it's not super easy to travel, but that doesn't mean impossible.
Yeah.
You should look to do, and I can help you. So I love in-person stuff. I've been doing a lot of stuff recently, and but I just gave a lecture to a group on implants before this. Getting a bunch of good virtual presenters who probably couldn't travel to Florida, but could still talk to the group. I can help you with that too. Like Mark Costas, people like me, Kira Dent, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So now we're all going to be practice owners, you guys. So Ryan, if you wanted to hire an associate, which one of these 3 would be most important to improving? Profit, sanity, or happiness?
Sanity is pretty important.
Sanity, yeah. What about you, Maggie?
I'd probably say sanity too.
Sanity. What about you, Jack?
I don't know, probably happiness. I'd rather be happy than insane than
happy and insane.
Not happy.
So what's interesting though is a lot of times dental practice owners, and this is really important, you guys are getting really awesome inside info, the mindset of a dental practice owner, they're often looking for what they don't even want. So they think they want someone to increase their profit, but they're really looking for someone to increase their sanity, help them be more sane, help them be more happy. So it's important for you guys to you're not going to be the most productive associates ever in your first couple of years out. But we have an awesome associate of a GPR, and she's helping us a great deal with our sanity and happiness. And my brother and I don't even really care for the first year about the profit. Probably going to decrease our profit for the first year. But why would it be is awesome to have a young Dr. Maggie working with us. So have you guys ever been inside General Dentist offices while they're working behind the scenes? Have you ever been, Ryan? Have you, Jack?
Yep.
Do as much of that as possible whenever you can. Go and be like, hey, can I just hang out for the afternoon? If we can bring cookies for the team, I'll bring pizza. I just want to see what happens. Because checking hygiene patients, seeing emergencies, and trying to do your work can drive a general dentist insane. So when you have an awesome associate who can take care of some of those challenges for you, it is well worth it, even if you're not profitable. So we pay a daily safety net guarantee to our associate, and she's been doing really well. And our office has kind of trended more towards fee for service. But some days she doesn't meet her guarantee. We don't care. It's great having her. So that's us. Now, what if someone said, what if, Jack, you wanted to double your profit with someone right out of dental school? You think that's a good selection for an associate, a new dentist, and doubling your profit as a practice owner?
Probably not, no.
That matches bad. What is the reason that most new dentists are not profitable in their first year of practice and have a really difficult time being productive? So if you think of 3 answers, what is it? Maggie, what do you think?
They don't have the speed yet.
Speed's probably number 3.
Case presentation.
You're on the right track there at the number 1. 2 is team support. Okay. So they have the team support and handing you instruments, but they're not so sure if you're good, Ryan, right? The body language of the assistants is this new Dr. Ryan, he might look like he has a nice smile, but he might not know anything, right? And that just comes out through nonverbal skills, because the team is super authentic and they're really good with patients. And sometimes they side with patients over the dentist, which is weird, but sometimes good for your practice. Over me sometimes. I'm their boss technically. So what happens is the team needs to feel confident in you. And if they just don't know, right? Just like your friend, Maggie, you might invite a friend to go get wine or coffee, but you're probably not going to invite her on a 5-day trip to Napa if you just met her, because you can't count on that person being critical. So, but the real thing is patient relationships and case presentation. So if I cannot say this strong enough, we have a really cool thing coming up. Morgan, give them this Travis Campbell thing, because you guys get a free pass to this. So does anyone know Dr. Travis Campbell from Facebook at all? He posts a lot. So he's a general dentist in Texas. He's got amazing practice, but he's like a guru of insurance. So we're going to bring him for these 2 webinars that we'll actually charge people for, but you guys get it for free as NAP people. What he talks about all the time is how to talk to people is the key to being successful. And how much practicing on talking to people do you guys get in dental school, Ryan?
I talk to
A couple days a week.
You might get practice. How much training?
One day maybe.
So the reason why I record these things is so I can watch them back later and we can all be like, look, we used to be young, now we're old. But no, that's not the reason. I just spoke to 4 dentists in private practice and told them, like, don't say virgin, say tooth without a filling. Don't say fail, say tooth needs to be replaced. Don't say what's your chief complaint, say how can I make you happier. The more you can practice that in your dental school and residency time, the more patients are going to trust you when you get into practice. When you can talk and project confidence, you're going to be able to make them feel like, hey, Maggie could do my crown. Hey, Ryan could take out this tooth. Hey, Jack could do this night guard. It has less to do with your clinical skills and more with your personal skills. You're in clinic, right, Maggie? You're D4 or D3?
D3.
D3, and you're D4, right, Ryan?
No, same.
Oh, you're both D3s, and Jack, you're D1, so you're not there.
Nope.
Already, can you share some experiences with me, Maggie, or Ryan, and Jack here with us watching? What has been some challenging patient interactions you've had where you're like, man, I wish someone told me what to do about this because I have no idea what to say.
The first time someone shows up thinking they just need like a new partial made because they're missing 3 teeth, and it turns out that they're going to have to lose all of those teeth. It's a really tough discussion to have because it looks almost like you're changing the treatment plan or something on them if you were not originally the person that planned their treatment with them when they first arrived at the school. So just like care not being always continuous in the school makes for like really difficult situations and communications with your patients.
Yeah,
so I felt like that was like the toughest thing really that I've had yet.
So I always can give you an answer for all these things. What to do. So the next time that happens, where the previous dental student planned a filling and it needed a crown, where the previous dental school instructor said it was fine to do a bridge, but the teeth had 90% bone loss, right? Say what makes sense here. So you guys, if you guys want to write this down, fine. Morgan will give you the recording of this. You guys signed your life away so I can make you famous. So you're going to be on Nacho HBO. It's a real channel, Jack. I'm getting an investor, Nacho HBO. Not real HBO, Nacho HBO. But the value is that you could watch this back and say, oh yeah, Paul told me to say this. So these are golden phrases. What makes sense here? Okay, really makes it seem like I'm on their side. So let me just use an example, maybe a Morgan can relate. Have you ever been out with friends and everyone's been drinking and having a good time and somebody wants to go to another bar and you think it's time to just call it a night? Has that happened to you? It could be Black Friday shopping where you're on your 10th store getting a $5 TV you're never going to watch. And your aunt wants to keep on shopping and you're going to have a personal meltdown. So someone wants to do something and you want to push back. One of the best things you could say is, what makes sense here? And now fill in the blank. What makes sense here is for us all to just go home together and not stay out till 5 a.m. because we're going to regret it tomorrow morning. Doesn't mean the person's not going to be upset. Doesn't mean the person's even going to do what you want to do, but you're going to control the tone of the conversation. So what makes sense here, and then the next phrase is to shift gears and reassess the long-term treatment plan so we can make you as happy as possible. Those in that order. What makes sense here? What makes sense here is for us to shift gears, reevaluate the long-term treatment plan so you can be as happy as possible. Do you see how magical that would be, Jack? But you guys just do things, which is normal. I did stutter, not sure, turn red, get upset, right? Maggie, I don't want to be like this. Like, this is what happens when you're 44. I'm like, if I just saw you, how old Maggie and Ryan? Are they 15? You're like, no, we're 28, dumb nacho guy, right? But like, it's going to happen to you too. Like, I have no idea how old you are, Jack. I only have an idea because you told me you're D1. But if you just popped onto Zoom, you could play. I mean, it's true. Like I could do it too, right? Like I could be probably 34 to 54. There's like an age range where I could tell you I am, where you're like, that makes sense, right? If I told you I was 49, you're like, that guy probably looks young for 49. If I told you I was 33, like that guy might look old for 33. I'm 44 years old. So the reason for you is you're often dealing with people who it's very normal to think you're young and you don't know what you're doing. Do you want to know why, Maggie? Because you're young and you don't know what you're doing, right? So it's a very reasonable thing. So like when you can say words that just create a tone of confidence around you, it's so key. Now back to this presentation, let's let you switch gears and be you as associates. It's your first job after GPR. All of you have different levels of debt. All of you have different life goals. None of them are wrong or right. But if I said there's a job out there for you where the money's low, but the morale and mentorship is high, versus the money being high, but the mentorship being low. We have a $150,000 a year job out of your residency with great mentorship, good morale, but okay money. Or we have a $250,000 a year job where you work by yourself at a DSO, where the money's good, but there's zero mentorship, and the morale's challenging because they have a new dentist running it. Now, dental students would pick, new dentists would pick either. Which one would you pick, Maggie?
Pick the lower paying one.
And why would you pick that?
I don't do well with like low morale
Right.
situations, and like I would like the mentorship coming
You know
out.
what? That should be called normal. You know when people say you have a fear of heights? I think that should be called normal feeling about heights. Like who's hanging off the side of a building being like, I am super comfortable in this situation. So low morale, Maggie, is just you being a normal human being. Jack, which one would you pick? 250 and on your own, or 150 with mentorship?
I mean, I think I'd have to do the 150. I think the thing if we know that there's going to be good mentorship, I think that mentorship could add the value that makes up for the lost income.
Good point there. And this over here. What about you, Ryan?
I guess it really depends on, I guess, my comfort level coming out of that residency and where, like, long term, I guess, like where the stepping stones are of where I'm going. Because if it was a situation where I thought like, okay, I'm going here, going to be there for a year or two as I get my other stuff in line, maybe I'd be willing to sacrifice, morale or something for a bit and grind through it if I knew the experience. It really comes down to, I guess, like what that practice offers me as the ability to learn as a clinician, like how many patients they have and what kind of procedures I get to do as well.
And all really good feedback. So I've given you guys, it's not a trick question, but you only often know the money because that's on the table. But sometimes practices do this thing where they mislead you or lie about the money. Sometimes they mislead you or lie about the mentorship. So I've kind of run you into a nacho trick here of all of you need to do the same thing if you presented with this. So one of the things, I'm going to start this lecture, I was talking to Morgan today. I want to also give you guys some really good speaking advice when you talk to people. Like stop being like super boring, because you're just like going to dental student mode. And you're like, the perio pocket here, the perio probing depth is 3 millimeters. That's mild gingivitis. Nobody cares, right? This is an interesting thing. Let's say this is just a good, tough conversation thing. You have somebody, they have 60% bone loss. They're 60 years old. They're in the middle ground of perio. And you say, hey, we have put together data about your teeth. We looked at everything. And say, I really compliment you for coming to the dentist. Say that a lot. I really compliment you coming to the dentist. It's very likable. I compliment. Does anybody here sometimes plan to go to the gym, but then doesn't go to the gym? Does that ever happen to you? If every time you walked into the gym, they said, Ryan, it's really great that you're here. I compliment you for being there. You would go to the gym more often. Because you go, those nice people are not judging me about Chick-fil-A. They're just saying, good job being here, Ryan, right? So what you would, in terms of being interesting with people, it's not launching into your boring stuff first, right? So it's not even launching into what you want to talk about first. Being interesting could be like, I'll just do it to you guys, right? Have any of you guys seen Ted Lasso so far on TV? You like it, Jack?
Yeah, it's great.
Who's your favorite character?
I liked Nate until the end.
Maggie, have you seen Schitt's Creek? Have you seen Curb Your Enthusiasm? What's your favorite movie? What's a favorite movie you have?
I like the Harry Potter movies.
Harry Potter's good, right? Did you see anyone dressed up as Harry Potter on Halloween?
Yes.
So isn't it amazing, Maggie, that Harry Potter has such staying power that people still dress up as that, right? Ryan, what's one of your favorite TV shows or sports to watch? Sporting events.
Watch a lot of football, and recently we're a new Seattle Kraken fan based out of New Orleans here.
Okay, got
For NHL.
Okay. So you like the NHL? Who's your favorite NFL or college team?
So yeah, we're huge on LSU.
LSU. So you plan your days around? Oh, you got this shirt on there, Maggie. You plan your days around watching it?
Yeah.
You know what? I say I love that. I think that's awesome. Even when you have kids, you should still do it and get them involved because life's supposed to be fun, and there's a lot of crappy parts of life and maintain fun, right? Do you see how interesting I was to all three of you? I didn't say anything about your dental school debt, even though I want to talk about the dental school debt. I didn't say anything about your total inability to communicate with people and talk weird. No, I'm getting to that, right? So be likable. First, be likable because being interesting is hard. So when you're a public speaker like me, I have to walk in on stage next week and say in front of 500 people words, right? But I've taken a lot of public speaking courses, so I know what to do. So no judgment to the other people speaking who will be phenomenal at what they're talking about, but this is what they're going to do. My name is Dr. Paul Goodman. I own 2 practices in New Jersey. I live in Philadelphia. I have a wife and 2 kids. This is not super interesting, right? A lot of people have this. Here's a picture of my office. I started this company, Dental Nachos. That might be a little interesting, but everyone will be checked out because your instructors do this all the time. Checked out. Your patients will check out. Be likable and be interesting. So if I walk on stage next week in front of 500 people and you're sitting in the audience at 11 a.m. on a Saturday on the 3rd day of this conference, and there's been social events 2 nights, right? So people probably half hungover, half tired. I'm like the 12th speaker to go at 11 a.m. I get introduced with some flowery introduction, same thing, everybody with the flowery introduction. And I walk on stage and I say this. It's 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning and 70 New Jersey State police officers are staring at me. Are you interested, Maggie, in hearing the next line? Are you interested, Jack, in hearing the next line? Mm-hmm. Ryan, why is that interesting to you?
Because I'm curious as to where we're going.
And it's dramatic, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to share with you to give you the answer to your thing about the money versus the morale thing is I know that the middle part of my talk is going to be about this stuff, the money and morale, but I got to get people interested in listening to me. I got to tell them a story. So just telling a story is really good. It's like, hey, you like Ted Lasso, Jack. We did season 1. We're watching season 2. I saw people dressed up for Halloween. That's a story, right? Maggie, you like that? You liked Harry Potter. So I said, I did see people in Philadelphia dressed up as Hermione. I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but I know the characters. LSU football, I'm like, Ryan, probably people are like, when you're a dad, you shouldn't spend your Saturdays watching football. I'm like, no, watch football with your kids. Get them the freaking onesies. Life's supposed to be fun. I become very likable to you guys, right? So it has to be a system to be likable. I'm authentically meaning this to you 3, right? I mean it, what I'm saying. But I don't mean it in the same way to my 70-year-old patient about playing canasta, but my wife now plays canasta. So I search for something to be likable about. Now, if I'm in front of people who are new, or I'm in front of this audience and I say it's 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning and 70 New Jersey State police officers are staring at me, pause, because they're all waiting for dental exams. And now I've done a misdirection. Now it feels more comfortable because this guy's a dentist. But you're still interested. Why did 70 New Jersey State police officers need a dental exam? You're hooked now, right, Jack? So then I'm going to share with you to help you guys is what the New Jersey State Police does, and I'm from New Jersey, is both brilliant and incredibly stupid at the exact same time. And it's a really good way on how we should hire associates and associates should look for jobs. So do you see in 4 sentences, you're totally engaged with what I'm going to say? That's what you have to do for patients as best you can. Every time I give a speech, it's not always good. Every time I do it, but you have to have systems. I went to the pediatric dental conference last week to speak to 65 people at 9 o'clock. Freaking half of them are eating bagels, not paying attention when it starts. Half of them are not sitting near me. So I know I have to say something to make them pay attention. Your patients come and they're stressed out. Their kids were late for school. They have a problem in their house. You have to be interesting and likable. So what I said to them was, here's just another quick example. So look, you can't tell my nacho stories. I mean, you could tell them if you want, but people were like, who are you, Dr. Nacho? You got to come up with your own versions of this. Words to say that are likable and attention grabbing. Likable and attention grabbing. So another one when I said to the pediatric dental conference was always about the first thing you say. You got to plan it, right? So if someone who goes back and they have 70% bone loss, or someone you have to switch gears on, Ryan, you got to think in the back. You could write little notes to yourself on what to say on a piece of paper. Sorry. What makes sense here, right? But what is the thing you can always say? I gave it to you, and I want to say, bring this to life again. Because in the heat of battle, you're not going to have the nacho guy and freaking Zoom in your ear. You got to do it yourself, right, Maggie? You know, people do text me. They're like, what should I say next, Paul? So if you want to, I will help you if I'm free. But pretend I'm not free. No joke. This happens to me quite a bit. So what you should say to them is, it never will not work with being likable. Hey, Mrs. Smith, I really want to compliment you for coming to the dentist. I struggle with doing things I don't want to do, like going to the gym. And now you will be very, very likable. You have put yourself on their level. Back to the 150 versus 250, what the New Jersey State Police does that's brilliant and also kind of stupid is that they require the New Jersey State Police officers to get exams by like 12 different medical professions. And I think it's really brilliant to get an exam by an orthopedic surgeon. They asked me to do these dental exams, Jack, and they just said, look for abscesses in people's mouth. I didn't have x-rays. Wasn't able to really do a thorough exam, but I was looking for any signs that they couldn't go to boot camp. And boot camp, Jack and Ryan and Maggie, but now when I'm on stage, I try to make it feel like I'm talking to each one of you, but I can't say 500 people's names. But boot camp is what they do as the last step before you become a New Jersey State Police officer. But what they do is they will, if you're going to be a New Jersey State Police officer, Jack, they'll go through psychiatric evaluations, physical evaluations. They'll talk to your references. They will spend hours and hours and hours and hours of time and a lot of money on getting you ready to go to boot camp, Jack. But they found out there was a big problem, Maggie. When you passed all of those tests and you went through that little panel of the medical and dental doctors and you went to boot camp, after the second day of boot camp, too many people, Ryan, were quitting. Too many people were saying, this isn't for me. And they couldn't fill that spot. So what they did that was brilliant, Jack, was they created a 2-day, this is what boot camp feels like for the New Jersey State Police. And they created a weekend where you go and they run you through what a mini boot camp is like. And after that weekend, they say to you, Ryan, do you still want to go through with this? And most of the time, what those New Jersey State Police officers said is 10 to 15% say they don't want to go through with it. And that's awesome, because then they don't put any more time into the program. And that's exactly what you should do, Jack. If you have 5 practices and you're looking to hire a really good associate, you shouldn't sit across from Starbucks or sit at the end of the day where your office looks calm. You know when my baby looks, you know when my 3-year-old looks really calm, Maggie? When she's sleeping. She looks like an angel then. You know when she doesn't look like an angel? When it's 5 o'clock and Peppa Pig's blaring and she doesn't have one of her shoes on. So make sure you bring in your associates for a full day at least and have them observe what is going on in your practice. So they make sure they're getting the job they want and you're getting the associate that you want. How does that system sound to you, Jack?
Yeah, that sounds really smart. I like it.
So I'm going to give all these people this advice because they don't freaking know, right? I do this, but I'm going to give, I like you guys better. I actually like you better this night. I want to help you guys. People aren't going to offer you this, Maggie. They're not going to know. They're not going to be at the DEO listening to me. So what you're going to do is you're going to say, before you ever sign a contract, which is reviewed by a dental focus attorney, if you guys sign contracts not reviewed by a dental focus, I'm not talking to you for 6 months. I'm not joking. I'm telling you, you're that cheap, no good. Because this is happening. There's a girl out there, I didn't know her, but she watched Nacho stuff. She didn't have her contract reviewed by an attorney. I go, why didn't you watch all this nacho seats? She goes, I didn't think I could afford it. I said, nope, you were cheap. I mean, honestly, an attorney costs like $800 to $1,500. You just spent $500,000 on dental school, $300,000 on dental school. Take the time to get your contracts reviewed. But what you'll do, Maggie, is say, oh, Dr. Nacho, this looks like a really good practice. It seems like people are happy here. What I would love to do is come and observe for a full day. You don't have to pay me. I'll wear scrubs. I'll sign the HIPAA release. And I just want to come and see what happens here during a normal day. So I make sure I'm the right fit for you. Always put it on yourself. Don't say, so I make sure you're the right fit for me. That sounds a little obnoxious, right, Maggie?
Yeah.
Like if you said to me, I wouldn't, but it would rub me the wrong way if I didn't know real Maggie and you blundered the words. It's really important. Don't say, hey, Dr. Nacho, with your 8 dentists and history of 5 associates and 2 practices, I want to come and observe to see if this place is good enough for me. It's even if that's what you're doing, it doesn't sound right, right? But it sounds really nice, Jack, if you say, I just want to make sure I'm going to be the right associate for you. And even though everything looks good, I would just love to see what happens during a full day. And it could be 2 days. Why do you think I'm telling these owners? These owners are going to do, most of the people in the DEO are like between have practices from 1.5 to 5 million or 5 to 10 million, right? I joined this business group called Vistage. I was there today. I'm the only dentist in it with Del Nachos. There's people with $50 million companies, $5 million companies. What do you think their biggest complaint is? Finding what?
People to work.
Finding good team members. Doesn't matter if it's an associate dentist or a lead VP of sales for a technology company. And what's the crushing thing to a business owner? When you put time into somebody and they either leave or you're fired or they're fired for bad reasons. You work for me, Maggie, you want to be a periodontist? Awesome, that happened. I'll replace you, no big deal. You work for me and you don't like that we only work 9 to 4 and for some reason you want to work 9 to 8, that probably wouldn't happen, but I want you to find out that ahead of time because there's a lot of money lost, morale drained, and mentorship wasted or non-existent. So that is like what I've told you guys, it's such valuable info. People should be telling dental students this day 1 of D1 and keep telling them. All right, hold on. We'll do more of this next time. Let's stop share here a minute.